Red 2 standing by, all for lit, and in the green, welcome back to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I've been doing a little bit of reading up. I found out something interesting about the music in here. The music you hear it's not great, but it was changed by Nintendo for the PAL version and NTSC version 1.2 onwards. Because the original music actually included, I believe it was Islam's call to prayer. However, nobody actually had major protests or anything like that. Nintendo simply chose to change the music of their own volition. There is actually evidence of the music being changed in builds made before the actual release date of the game. I'm trying to get that keys to come down here. There we go. So we took care of that. There's not a lot we can do in this starting room, admittedly. I was kind of curious if I would actually have that music, but the PAL version doesn't have that. So these, we can't do anything about these. We can't pull them out of the way. We can't bomb them. We can't, well, force them. We will need the Megaton Hammer. The door in here can be opened, but it's not going anywhere. It's the door to the boss key, and there is a shaking Goron. Hello? Please, don't eat me. If you eat something like me, you'll get a stomachache. You'll be sorry. I'm not going to eat you. I'm going to make sure nobody eats you. And the only way we can go is to our left, because the door... Oh yeah, the keys are back. This door has a lock on it. Oh, that's interesting. So, if we go over this way, we can start making progress. This is a superheated room. And there's an old friend of ours. Who's there? Is that you, Lunk? Oh, it really is Lunk! You've grown so big since I last saw you, you've become a real man! I want to have a man-to-man talk with you, but now's not the time. Ganondorf is causing trouble on Death Mountain again. He has revived the evil ancient dragon Volvagia. On top of that, he is going to feed my people to that evil dragon as a warning to other races that might resist him. If that fire-breathing dragon escapes from the mountain, all of Hyrule will become a burning wasteland. I will go on ahead to try to seal up the evil dragon. I'm concerned, though, because I don't have the legendary hammer. But I have no choice. Lunk, I'm asking you to do this as my sworn brother. While I'm trying to deal with the dragon, please save my people. The prisoners' cells are in the opposite direction, though there is actually one in here. But we don't really care about him. You know what you did. I'm counting on you, Lunk. There are some things that a real man has to do, and this is one of those things. Well, we have been tasked with saving the day by our brother. Let's get this done. So yeah, there's a lot of red and a lot of brown. It's almost... Well, it's not quite 1970s brown, but it's very, very specific, rocky, fiery palette. It's a bit generic in some senses. Are you releasing me? Am I free to go? I'll tell you a secret for saving me. In order to get into the room where Darunia went, you have to do something about the pillar stuck in the ceiling. find a path that leads to a room above the ceiling right away.
And off he goes. We get a chest which should have a key in it, but it's not the key to the cell, so don't blame that Goron. So we have a lot of keys in the fire temple. We can maneuver around the room as well. Now, it's worth noting that when we are wearing the Goron tunic, we won't take damage as quickly from lava floors. Note that if we take off our Goron tunic in rooms like this, we will get that message again. And yeah, we have 128 seconds because we have 16 hearts. If we maneuver over here, I think we might be able to play the Scarecrow song. Depending on where we are. Now, there are some places in here, for the sake of 100% completion, that we will need the Scarecrow song. So we hook shot. Okay, so there are some pots. What do we have in these pots? Oh, I think we're actually... Oh no, I'm kitted out. I did kit myself out. I wasn't stupid, not after last time. I underestimated Morpher and I very nearly paid dearly. Wow, 2 fairies and bombs. So we can jump back down here and go and use that key we found. That will get us into the main body of the fire temple. It's pretty easy to see that this is some sort of room with ritual significance, perhaps, if we are doing some sort of religious ritual in a sense. I mean, if we're speaking in strict definitions, I don't know if anybody would be impressed by me saying it, but wouldn't things like communion, technically speaking, be a ritual? And I'm not sort of doing this to be like a jackass. I'm legitimately asking because I'm kind of curious. So we can walk along here, deal with the bubbles, and that will start sinking. But we can also climb up here. Now, let's go in here first. Now, is this... Now, it's worth noting there are some fake doors in this temple. You can generally destroy them pretty easily. Now, at least the way these are locked up, it actually makes sense for it to be set up like that. The switches, the guards could very easily wind up opening these.
A wall that you can destroy with the Goron special crop will sound different than a regular wall if you hit it with your sword.
So we already know that, and yeah, keep in mind the Goron special crop is bombs. So this gets us another key. We are probably going to find a lot of keys in with the prisoners. But we'll want to play the Song of Time as well. Admittedly, there's a couple of things I'm thinking back to where this game is concerned, but... Whoop. Don't rush things. You wind up hitting the wrong buttons and it all goes wrong. Now, I do need to be very patient with this because I already mucked up a lot of stuff in the water temple and I don't think my ego is going to take it very well if I wind up stuffing this up. So, what do we got? We've got likes and we've got a good old Zelda staple, flying tiles. But they don't actually... You can target them, but they don't actually have any information. Now, it's worth noting that in some games, you couldn't actually use your shield to defend against flying tiles. Well, at least in A Link to the Past, anyway. You could in Link's Awakening, on the other hand. That was the first game where your shields were really, really good against a majority of things. I'm just too short. But we'll collect it like that. So yeah, in A Link to the Past, your shield was sometimes useful. That's really it, sometimes. Like, okay, you could, when you got the mirror shield, you could block the beams from the giant eyes. But very specifically, those. You could not use your shield to wind up blocking BMOS energy beams, which was, how would you put it, really dumb. Alright, can you get... Alrighty. Well, that case is just going to be flying around and hopefully not troubling anyone else. And across we go to the other side of the room where we can find a bombable wall. Is that... Oh, running away, eh? Yeah, the long shot is good at taking them out at range, but it's not going to be as effective against faster moving targets if they're not sort of cooperating and just moving towards you. So yeah, another key. Should be another key anyway. We will have to do a lot of jailbreaks. Alrighty, free to go. We get a secret.
There are switches in this temple that you have to cut to activate. But you can also use the Gorn special crop to do the job.
So, he's talking about the crystal switches, but yeah. Shields in games leading up to this one, kind of useless. Well, I suppose that's not fair. In the original Zelda, the shields did protect you against projectiles, but you couldn't ward off enemies, and their weapons were off limits too. You had better defensive capacities in Zelda 2. I'll give the shields their credit, they were really handy. A Link to the Past always bugs me a little bit because it's just... the shields really aren't that good, all things considered. Given how little you're actually able to block. I'm not that fond of them because you still can't block direct contact with an enemy. We will need to unlock this. And a lot of attacks can't be blocked, and on top of that, a lot of attacks always wind up dealing like one heart's worth of damage or whatever. Alright. So we do need to go up this side because the other side just winds up giving us those recovery hearts. Our objective in here is to push this block onto that jet of flame, and then we ride it up like a lift. That's some pretty powerful fire. Keep moving, slowly but surely. Alright, we stuck the landing. And stylishly, we head up to the next floor. That's handy. Okay, so this room, we are introduced to torch slugs. So these enemies generally give us magic. So they'll generally take a hit to get rid of their fire. Then you need to do a bit more damage, and then you can finish them off. Alrighty, so yeah, even if you've got the big Goron sword out, they will take a little bit of time to defeat. Okay, so if we want a slightly easier path, push this block down. Or, no, wait, we actually do have to push that. You might have noticed there was a cell in here, but we can't do anything about that just yet. Because we will need to come down from above in order to get that. So, this goes here, then we can climb up this. And that crystal switch can be tripped by a bomb. Whoa, the camera went a little funny there. Very nice, we've got past that at least. So yeah, bombs and other ranged weapons have always been able to trip the crystal switches. I think in Master Quest you can also wind up shooting the faces along here for items. Like that one. But we do get slightly different camera setups. Interestingly... Oh, so where was I going? Drat, where was I going with the point? But yeah, it does change your perspective a bit, sort of forcibly, when you're out in that main area. But... Alright, how many of the dang things do we have anyway? 75, alright. So we've got... Yeah, so we got 25 to go. Alright, so we need to find keys. We need to avoid getting hit by boulders. So, let's see. There should be a door somewhere around here that we can actually go into. Assuming I haven't got lost, that's a rock. That's where I was before. Oh, rocks. Yeah, really... It really is watch for rolling rocks. Ooh, through here. This will get us our next key, and then we can go to the upper section. That's what I was going to say. A lot of the fire temple is sort of rocky and it looks like it was essentially dug out by the Gorons. But I also like the fact that a lot of places seem to have really strong ceramic tiles. I mean, yes, it's a little bit bland in some sense. When you're on fire, you can put it out by swinging your sword or by rolling forward. Did you know that? Yep, stop, drop, and roll. That's actually good. That's actually good fire safety. Thank you, Goron. You've been doing a public service. So yeah, while I admit that the overall sort of aesthetic looks a little bland in some senses. It's very sort of similar colour schemes, it's very brown, it's got a bit of red and things like that. But areas like this, like I've just noticed that, oh yeah, those areas could well be like heat-proof ceramic tiles. And if that's the case, that's a really cool touch. I do genuinely like that as a design aesthetic. I still hate this room. I still don't think it's the absolute best design aesthetic because it's just so samey. But I can appreciate the little touches that do actually add a little bit of character even when everything sort of looks pretty similar. Now we need to inch very, very carefully across here because it is what you might call a long way down. Yeah, I hope you like heights. That is a long way down. Alright, now we go through here. We get a big chest. And this, I think, has the map. And the fire temple is big. There we are, the dungeon map. Let's take a look. 5 floors, rightio. Yeah, it's still a fairly sizable location. It's got like... that room on the second floor, it looks like it looks like a t-shirt, but with one arm raised. So we've got that, then we've got some of the upper areas. And yeah, it's really odd architecture. Like, I can definitely see, like, the ground floor being used for some sort of religious ceremony. But honestly, I'm not sure about it. It less immediately screams temple than a few other places do. But, like, you can very much tell that it is hewn out of the mountain. Oh, no. Wait, no. What have I missed? What have I missed? Well, I got the map at least. Oh, I'm a little rusty on this one. What do I need to find? Hang on. This might make a shortcut. Or not. Wait, so I gotta go this... I know I've got to go this way. Oh, dodge the boulders. Did not even get to finish it. Did not even get to finish my sentence. So this way... Oh, that's right. There's a Goron down here. I knew there was... I love how it just sort of fades out. And you can see the gate going into the wall. What are your words of wisdom, sir?
In this temple, there are doors that fall down when you try to open them. When one of these doors starts to fall, move. If you use a sample of the Goron's special crop, you can break it.
You could very easily take a lot of things out of context.
It's like, hey brother, you want some of the Goron's special crop? It's not just bomb flowers we grow out here on Death Mountain. I mean, nobody's going to expect a hydroponics setup here.
Yeah, so, okay, special crop. The Gorons grow weed. I think that's a new headcanon. The Gorons are excessively murderly to the point of testosterone poisoning. And they pretty much wind up growing weed. I hope I'm probably gonna have to tinker around a little bit just to make sure everything fits, because I just edit the appropriate voice clips in. But yeah. Rightio, where are we? Oh yes, this bit. So we run over here. And we get a nice curtain of fire chasing us now. What we will have to do next is get wasted. So yeah, we do still take damage, but it's a lot slower. And yeah, that little curtain of flame, it looks menacing, but it really isn't that much. So now we're on the upper area and we need a couple more keys. Now, if I stand in the right spot, I think I have to be over here. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure this is where you gotta be, because I always have trouble getting this. Just give me a moment and I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. Because the exact spot you've got to stand is super finicky and it always annoys me. Oh, right, it's actually there. Whoops, that's not too bright of me. Now, if we latch on to our scarecrow buddy, and we turn around, we can hookshot to this, which takes us up through the temple. Now, I believe what we get in this chest up here is 200 rupees, so I'm not going after it. Now, we've got one Skulltula nearby. Now, if the music was a bit simpler, if it was just that first part rather than sort of the edited in choir, then I probably would have subbed out the music with something else. But the problem is I don't really know how to wind up changing out music like that so that I can say hypothetically edit out the music and then wind up putting my own music in while still keeping the sound effects and everything. So we've got 2 for the price of 1. This little path hiding 2 Skulltulas is really handy because this room is actually totally optional for completing the dungeon, if I remember correctly. So, if we step on this and that fire runs out, then we should be able to... Oh god, no! Oh, that was mean. I thought I did that perfectly. Okay, you can get the long shot to make this a lot more easy. Now, this is 200 rupees, right? Yep, so this room is actually totally unnecessary for the completion of the dungeon. It's just another option to max out your wallet. But it's worth seeing that. We did get 2 gold Skulltulas, so it's useful for that particular quest. We've actually done pretty well out of this. So, let's head back down. And break Link's ankles. Now I have to get back onto that upper area, which means going through here. Now, if I get this right, I can... Now, I might... Okay, I don't think I can make that, and I'm not going to risk it. We do not risk it for the biscuit. Especially since we already acquired the biscuit with a much easier jump. Alright, come on, Lunk. Let's move very carefully. I suppose if we really want to move slowly, we could always use the iron boots. Which is something I'm actually going to be mucking around with when it comes to a cutscene. Because the cutscene that triggers to essentially give you access to the Shadow Temple, to at least learn the Nocturne of Shadow... Oh, it still landed on me. But that winds up... Essentially, that winds up having Link run at full speed when he sees what's going on. Interestingly, if you enter that cutscene with the iron boots on, Link will run at full speed with the iron boots. And it will look as ridiculous as you think it does. Oh, man. I've done something somewhere along the way to my neck. That feels really stiff. Oh. Alright, so I'm gonna bomb this and then jump over here. Navi just tells us that she can hear somebody below that gap. Oof. Well, the Goron is going to be happy, so now we have to head all the way over here. We'll talk to him to end the episode. We can thankfully make our way across here very easily. Apart from one torch slug, which won't be too hard to deal with. There we go, and across the gap. And watch as this Goron gives us advice and then winds up walking off thin air. Usual secret.
If you find a place that you can see on the map but can't reach, try playing your Ocarina.
And yeah, he just basically just walks off into thin air. Thank you very much for joining me as we grab the next key we need. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base. Oh god, that's still moving. I didn't realize that was still moving. I don't think I've ever been more annoyed to be rich in my entire life. We got there's $100 under my house? You must be hardened with fire. You ruined my line.